Devon now must look differently to Devon when Felix was around in a way, because it's taken on these extra meanings, you know.
That's right. And that is quite beautiful in a kind of very contradictory way. But it's like that's kind of where he is or who he is now. That's the sort of comfort I take from that.
Yeah, and the title, the Green Hill. What's the significance of the title?
Well, the Green Hill is just something, a phrase that my brother used to describe um, Sharper Meadow, which is where Felix is buried, which is a hillside overlooking the River Dart estuary. And I think that subconsciously he was referring to this hymn, There is a Green Hill Far Away Without a City Wall, which is a sort of hymn that we sang as children, which is, well, it's about, it's about death really and sacrifice because it's about, Jesus being crucified on a, hill outside, Jerusalem, whatever. And so it's kind of about young death. And so I just found that quite a poetic um, idea. And so that sort of phrase sort of stuck for the place. And I thought it, as a title for the book, it summarized a lot of the issues quite well.
Yeah, and just one more question, really, and this is just in relation to SUDEP. I mean, 6 years on, I mean, how do you think about SUDEP now? Are you still angry it's not more widely known? Do you feel you're driven to sort of get it better known amongst people? I mean, what's your take on SUDEP and the fact that it's taken your son?
Well, I just feel desperately sad about it. And it is very frustrating that we don't know why it happens and that, I'll always support any efforts to make people safer and to find out why it happens because I think until we know that we're not going to people are still going to die. That's the first thing is to the most important thing is to find out why. um I have no idea how close that is and how close we are to knowing, but I'll do everything I can to
Yeah,
support efforts to understand it because that's the only way to prevent more deaths, isn't it?
yeah. So writing this book, I would imagine, has been quite challenging at times, but also therapeutic.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it definitely was something that I felt instinctively I wanted to do was to write, and then turning it into a book has been quite difficult because it was obviously completely formless um, at the original point of writing, and then I had to kind of think, how am I going to end it? Because really, the story doesn't end; the story is continuing. Um, So I came up with an ending, but I'm very clear, and I say at the beginning of the book, the story doesn't really ever end.